How you doing, everybody? I'm Aaron here in the Bowtie Treasures studio. Happy Tuesday night. Thanks for joining me last week if you were here, and tonight we're going to continue this project and we're going to work on the top of this vintage cabinet console. Not sure what we're calling it, something like that. Just give me a second. I'm seeing some dust on your nose. Let me get that off for you. There we go. You're looking better now. I thought it would be cool, just since I'm at that stage, to jump on a quick live. I say quick because it doesn't take long to stain, especially a smaller project like this. So I hope that you're ready to go to watch it as well. Don't hesitate to say hi in the comments. I always like to know when everyone's watching. And yeah, some tips and tricks. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best with that as much as possible. It'd probably take me 2 minutes to stain and probably 10 minutes to talk about staining for 2 minutes. But I wanted to just bring you along this journey again. This is the last step I have. My normal process is to get the cabinet part done, tape off the top coat the bottom, and then reverse that tape so that when I do the staining, I can easily wipe that stain off because the base has been top coated. It's easy to wipe that stain off. So you'll see blue painter's tape along the lip of it right here. So overall, that should definitely help keep the stain off the paint, and I'll remove that. As you remember, we also did the blending on the side, and that also looks awesome. So it's just ready for stain. And you know, at this stage on the project, picking the right color could make or break the overall look. So let me just tell you some options you have to choose from. And you can get, I think these retailers, if you got a local retailer in your shop, they might be able to loan this to you. You might be able to purchase, I don't know if you can get these sticks on Dixie Belle's website, but if you do enough staining, paint some painter sticks, some mixing sticks. And in fact, you can see that a couple of them don't have official stickers on them because these were newer a year or so ago. So I made my own. But these are great ways, like you can see that I can put the stick and I can check that color to the stain. So that's one way. Dixie Belle also has, I think they're Fandex. There we go, that's the word. You can get them for paint, you can get them for, they've got like 3 different sets. But this one is just for water-based and oil-based stains. So first of all, the Voodoo Gel Stain, as you guys, if you've been following Dixie Belle, they've been releasing 4 new colors. I think 4, maybe 5. And they're really beautiful colors. I just did one. I released one not long ago on my YouTube channel where you can see me stain something with that. And there are valid colors to choose from here. In fact, I think some of the maybe less used are the blue and the green. I thought about that, but I don't really think I want to do a blue or teal top. So these are good, and I have probably the one I've used the most for staining with Voodoo Gel Stain had been, to this point, Tobacco Road, and I also like the Black Magic. The Black Magic just seems to really bring out wood grain really well. But with the new colors that Dixie Belle has, those are options. My fan deck does not have the new colors. So yeah, don't get me wrong, those are good options. I'm not going that direction. But the beauty of Voodoo Gel Stain is that it's water-based and doesn't really have any smell. Not that the odors are a problem, but if that's a problem for you, then the water-based is great. So these are the oil-based versions. And if you look at let me get my camera unstuck. You can see which ones I've used the most, the ones that are dirtier. This is Espresso, and probably one of the #1 stain colors out there. Just because everybody likes that dark stain top, but you do lose more of the wood grain. But it's a great color. It also hides a lot of problems on tops if you're really trying to disguise certain things. So it's a good color for a lot of things. I don't use a lot of walnut, but I'm about to do a project for a customer here pretty soon, and they wanted walnut because they have a lot of walnut type stuff in their house. I've never used the Georgian cherry. It's just really red, but keep in mind, all of these, you could do 2 coats. Try Georgian cherry and then do a different color over that. So you can kind of do some layering. The gray probably would be pretty cool in more of a coastal vibe, but I think I've used that once. I will tell you that I do not have the All Natural. I used to have it, I'm not sure what happened to it, but that's almost like no stain, right? It's just like keep it wood. But if you want to add a little bit of stain there. I have used the Pickling White, that's pretty nice. Antique Dresser worked out really well in that. So again, you can hold these stains up and just kind of do a check to see which one works well. One of the things that I find that works with me is I like to maybe consider the color palette. These are cool colors. The complement would be red, but guess what? The hardware has that reddish tone. So we have a complement color situation going here. So if I put other colors on it that are either not part of the teal and green or don't complement, it probably will not work. Like this is too extreme, but look how it clashes with the hardware. So in this situation, what I'm doing is I'm letting the hardware dictate the stain, not necessarily the color of the cabinet, but I'm letting the hardware. So if that is the case, I have two choices. The first one would be, in my opinion, Golden Ash, which is a little darker than what we have. It looks pretty good with the hardware. Hopefully I'm not in the way of that. The other one, the American Honey, has more red, not as much as the Georgian Cherry, and it does also complement the hardware. If I were to tell you what my #1 favorite color is, it would be American Honey. I've used it more than any other color because I think it just goes with so many situations. And you can also see that the can is well used and probably half empty. This is a great color, but I will tell you, I'm walking you through the process that I would take of comparing it to the paint. This is why oftentimes I stain last, because I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. My hardware's not polished yet, so there's a lot of factors on the cabinet that would affect the color of the stain. So, hey, don't get me wrong, you can wing it all you want, but this is how I think through my composition or overall. Because there's no doubt, if someone said, hey, I want Colonial Black, could it work? Yes. Would it color harmonize? Maybe not. This is espresso, a little dark. So that's kind of my logic. Don't get me wrong, some of the newer Voodoo gel stains would work well if you want more of a neutral color. But to me, I love how well this hardware is popping off. So we're gonna go American Honey. And again, the other thing to keep in mind is if you put a color of stain on there and it's not dark enough, red enough, white enough, you can put a different stain over that. But the only color that's gonna hide most of your grain is gonna be espresso. But even that, if you wipe it off, you're gonna still see a good bit of grain. If you put 2 coats of espresso on there, you practically might as well paint it. Coffee bean, which I've done before. If you ruin the top, some of these, not this one, but a lot of times you ruin, the top's been ruined by, it's cheap, it's not wood all the way through. Sometimes paint, using coffee bean as an espresso color works really well. It is recommended that you stir it, of course, if you haven't used this stain. I recommend you read the directions on the back. There we go. Now here we go. This is how beautiful it is. Isn't that great? I love that. If it's glistening and shining, you're doing great. But still want to give it a quick stir just to make sure all the chemicals and everything are at least working well together. Just to give you an idea, oftentimes I'll put a fan on it and it'll accelerate the dry time. I can really be top coating this top in a day and a half or 2 days at the most. So you just really need to, because if you're putting it on there and you're wiping it off, there's not a lot of product left. So it should dry pretty quick. There's no reason to wait a super long amount of time. I do like to use gloves. That just sure makes it easy to clean up. And then I can also use it to help dispose of the sponge that we'll use to apply it. I forgot to get it out, but not a problem. I think I have an extra one. So this is the applicator pad you can get from Dixie Belle. Of course, you can use other tools like rags and stuff, but you can get 2 of these in here. They're fairly inexpensive. I've got one already open and ready to go. And this will be our happy thing. I will also tell you that normally I'll sand down with like 80 grit and then 220. And then I like to use Dixie Belle's sanding sponge. They're about a 300 to 400 grit. So this is a really good thing to just come and do a final sand on. Make sure that you're all ready to go. Right here, if you didn't notice already, there is painter's tape protecting previously painted areas. So once I'm done, I should be able to take that paint off and we're good to go. As I mentioned before, it shouldn't take us long to stain this, so let's get right to it. Trying to keep this live short. I can't believe we're already at 12 minutes, but just get a little paint on there, not a lot of paint stain. All right, so I'm gonna put it on the side. My least favorite thing to do when sanding is the lip or the edge. They're so fun to get in there. No matter what kind of sander you have, you still have to wind up doing a lot of hand sanding to get it off. A lot of people do espresso. They like to hide the fact that maybe they didn't do a superb job on the top. I don't know. We all have had stuff we've had to hide before. All right, so now we'll do the top and we'll do the lip as we move along. So once you get a little bit on your applicator pad, just work it around. I like to work it in there a little bit. But I'm also using the applicator pad to wipe off excess. I don't normally come back and do any excess removal because I'm doing that as I apply this, like this right here. You see how I'm kind of coming back and I'm using the back end of the sponge just to wipe off. So you'll find that I'm not really going to have a lot of excess. So with that in mind, I'm not putting too much product on. I'm not leaving too much product on the piece. So what do y'all think? You think the color's gonna work? Better. It better, right? All right, just getting that lip, and I forgot this side too. I've got lots of stuff still in the sponge, so I don't have to keep redipping. Now to me, the secret, the finish, the time you really, that this stuff looks great is when it's top coated. It looks good right now, but to me, it gets even better when it's top coated. So nice satin or matte, whatever your favorite stain is, or top coat that is. So I told you it would take us 2 minutes to stain and 12 minutes to talk about how to do it. But if you've never stained before, it really is not an intimidating process. I'm not sure why I just did that. It wasn't really needed, but I think that, look how well that color goes with the hardware, right? I'm excited about that. I think this is going to be a really lovely piece. Someone's going to be excited about it. You know, it can work in a small apartment or bedroom, put your TV on it, or jewelry box or whatever. But so I think this can be great. So probably by the weekend, this will all be ready for staging, top coated and dried and good to go. And like I said, I usually put my a fan on it just to, one, help with any odor concerns that someone might have so it doesn't stink up the house. Not in a bad way, but then two, help it to dry quickly. That's another option you can do. And something I always love to do, I learned this from Melissa at Top Drawer RVA. I just love using my gloves to dispose of the pad. That's a nice little trick I learned from her, so I'm glad we can always exchange those kinds of things. But anyways, this project's almost done. I'm excited I had the chance to share that with you. If you're watching on replay, let me know what colors you tried or what color you thought might work better. You know, to each their own, right? It's a creative free country, but I'll get these things, this piece staged and looking great. And I appreciate you watching tonight and following me here on Bowtie Treasures. Until next time, I'm Aaron here in the studio, Bowtie Treasure Studio. Y'all take care, do something creative, be awesome. We'll see you later.
That's the end of the show. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell before you go. Bye.